You lying. Why you always lying? Oh my God. Stop fucking lying. Always lying to me. You lying so much. You making it hard for me. Every time you Roger, right on.
This was a part of the TV programming to program the masses that outer space was actually real. This was a part of the deception. This was all world stage theatrics, not to mention he has the number 3 on the side of his gear. I will be going more in depth later on in this video to prove and show to you guys that outer space is not real. This was a part of their deception. Nothing getting out of the firmament, nothing coming in the firmament. They have tried on multiple occasions to break the firmament, but they can't. This was shot in a Hollywood studio. It's a part of their deception. They use Hollywood a lot to pull off a lot of false flags operations. It's time to start questioning things. These Luciferians know that we do not live on a spinning ball, that we live on a flat plane, a dimension. It's time for us to wake up, people.
Weightlessness. Why imagine it when you can actually experience it? Just hop on a zero-gravity plane and you'll be weightless.
Weightlessness.
In no time, all without ever having to leave Earth. Planes that allow you to experience weightlessness aren't that different from typical passenger aircraft. Most zero-G flights occur on Airbuses. So how does a zero-gravity flight work? Planes fly along a radical flight pattern resembling a parabola. 3 pilots simultaneously control the plane during parabolic flight, each in charge of a specific axis. One pilot controls the pitch of the plane, or the nose up and nose down angle. This is the most difficult of the 3 axes to control. A second pilot controls the roll movement, keeping the wings horizontal and stable. The third pilot handles the engine speed and monitors flight parameters. After reaching a safe altitude, one of the pilots starts a sharp climb, lifting the nose of the plane up by 50 degrees. This is the pull-up, the upward approach toward the peak of the parabola. The plane peaks at 426 miles per hour during this maneuver, subjecting everyone on board to a gravitational force 1.8 times greater than what's on the ground for about 20 seconds. Once the pull-up is complete, the plane can finally enter the phase of weightlessness. The pilots gradually reduce the plane's engine speed as it approaches the peak of the parabola, and then it free falls. At this point, there's a brief 22-second window where the opposing forces of gravity and the falling plane immediately cancel each other out. Thus, there's weightlessness. These 22 seconds start and end at an altitude of roughly 25,000 feet. peaking at nearly 28,000 feet in the air. The plane then enters the pull-out phase of its flight path. It accelerates downward, subjecting passengers once again to 1.8 G before stabilizing to a more conventional horizontal path. So what does this feel like? The sudden shift can cause blood to rapidly flow to your head, which could be very nauseating for some. This is why zero-gravity planes are also known as the Vomit Comet. Despite the initial discomfort, people are able to do all sorts of things during zero-gravity flight. Some people board these flights as part of their astronaut training. Others use the unique conditions of zero-gravity flight.
What's going on, my people? I'm back with another video. As you all seen in those previous clips, that NASA is a scam. NASA stands for Not a Space Agency. They know it's complete garbage. It's mockery, and they're playing on the masses' intellect when they pull off these false flags, when they so-called travel to outer space. These Luciferians, these puppets know that they cannot leave this earthly realm's firmament. Nothing coming in, nothing going out. So when they do pull off these false flags, these side operations, when they so-called go to outer space, that's why you see these space ships explode when they reach like the top of the Earth's atmosphere. When they reach the magnetic field, these spaceships explode because they cannot leave this place. They cannot leave this place. They're stuck here. They know this is a trapped environment. This is why they try to defy the laws of gravity. They try to defy the Most High at every chance they get. So that's why they came out with NASA. And it was a part of their indoctrination. Because you got to think, we've been indoctrinated since we've been as kids. Our parents were indoctrinated with this nonsense into thinking that outer space actually existed, which it doesn't. So you mean to tell me the Earth is so-called spinning at 20,000 miles per hour? And then when we get this live footage of these astronauts working on the space station, they're just sitting still. You don't see anything moving. It's just sitting still. So you mean to tell, so check this out. So say if you're in your car and you have and you're traveling like 50 miles per hour and you stick your head out the window, don't your face move and shake from the wind? So you mean to tell me they're going out of space and they're traveling at thousands of miles per hour? And everything's sitting still, nothing is moving? Nah, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. All we get is CGI graphics. That's all we get. Most of the time, these false flags, these so-called when they work on this space station, so-called, that's being shot in a Hollywood studio somewhere. That's where they pull off most of these false flags at. In Hollywood, in front of a green screen, with this fake ball Earth here. They know the Earth is not a spinning ball. They know these things. They're hoping that everybody don't get on one accord and really find out that this whole NASA, this whole outer space thing is an illusion. It's fantasy. It sounds good. Don't get me wrong, because we all been there at one point in our lives, because we were indoctrinated with these things. The same thing with the dinosaurs. We were indoctrinated to believe these things were real. This is all fantasy. And they use these astronauts to make it believable. And what color does these astronauts wear? They wear orange, right? 33 degrees of deception. That's what it's all about. It's all one big hoax. That's what it is. Even with the moon, they say the moon's one big old rock just sitting up in the sky. That sounds like that's not even logically. That couldn't even be logically real. Like, that doesn't even make sense. None of it makes sense. With all these different planets that they done came up with, like Saturn. Saturn stands for Satan. So every planet they done named, it has a Luciferian name to it. This is all foolery. The same thing with them saying the sun being billions, 100 millions of miles away, and Mars being 400 million miles away, and they want to create life on Mars. That's all fantasy, people. That's all fantasy. With these rovers that they're putting on other planets, that's all nonsense. They're shooting all of these things in a Hollywood studio. So you mean to tell me I'm here on Earth I can't even get service here where I live at, but they can so-called go 500, a billion miles away, billions of miles away to Pluto and still get signals in the darkness, in the abyss of so-called space. No, because that is a hoax. That is a fraud. Only if people put their thinking hats on and put two and two together to see that this is all garbage. The same thing with them going to the moon. Everybody knew that was a hoax. Them flopping and falling around everywhere, that was them mocking the masses. This whole space race thing they had going with Russia was all nonsense. The same thing with the Cold War. All of it is false flag operations that they pull off to keep us indoctrinated, to keep this spell. It's all spell casting too, by the way. That's what all of it is. Space is a deception. Just like every other thing is a deception that they give us. Everything, people, you have to question everything these people give us. They try to implant into our subconscious mind at an early age. But some adults still believe in these things. And we're here to break this curse. We're here to break this spell. We're here to break this illusion. Break free out of this matrix, people, before it's too late. I'm gone.